Greetings, I am Tom Earl, and this is my year of adventure. We know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you are here today sharing your greatest gifts, your time and energy, means the world to me. I hope you know in this moment that you are valued, you are loved, and you are appreciated just as you are. Welcome to day 3 of Manifest Your Adventure. Today's is going to focus on defining success, the importance of having that foundation so you know where you are going. I'm going to cover all of that in the intro. Once again, if you are listening to this out of order, you're going to want to go back to day 1 first, episode 1 of this series of Manifest Your Adventure. I'm playing these courses all the way through without any edits, as you would hear it as if you were one of my students of the Celebration Academy. Of course, anytime you want to sign up for more courses, 30 days free coming right to you, tomrell.com/courses. So let me get out of the way so we can go through day 3 here, defining success. Let the theme music drop. Greetings, Tom Earl here. Welcome back to day 3 of the Celebration Academy's Manifest Your Adventure. Such a pleasure and a joy to have you here with us. I know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you're spending your 3rd day here with us means the absolute most to me. You know how we like to start. We do it every single time. Routines empower us every single day. In fact, day 7, giving you a little foreshadowing, is going to be about creating routines. But having this routine to start the day of aligning our energy, our breath, and our intentions as one, it's amazing. And maybe even selfishly, I do it just to give myself in the right mindset to provide this experience for you. So here's what we're going to do. You're a pro already on day 3. We're going to breathe in through our nose, reach, think, or stretch up, and then exhale. Here we go. Breathe in through your nose, reach, think, or stretch up. Go. And breathe out. Here we go. Breathe in again. And release. Here's what I'd like for you to do. I want you to think of a stranger that is near you. Maybe you're on the bus and you can see someone, or someone in your work, in your office that you don't really know, or someone you saw on TV, or someone that served you coffee today, some stranger that you've ran into this week, someone you don't know. I want you to picture them, visualize them, or if you can see them, look at them without being creepy about it. And I want you to start to wish them happiness in their life. And I want you to wish them peace and abundance in their life. I want you to wish them a great night of sleep tonight in their life. And I just want you to feel that desire for goodness and wellness and joy to be in their world, and that any burdens they're carrying, that they find relief. Any doubt in their mind, that they find belief. Any grief that they're carrying, that they find joy. I want you to send that to them. And any other thoughts you want to add on to the end of this, any other well wishes, I want you to send it their way. And with that feeling of wishing someone else that you don't know and you'll never benefit directly in this moment from, I want you to send them one more well wish. And with that in mind, I want you to breathe in one more time. Here we go. Breathe in. And release. There we go. Every time I do that exercise, I learned that one from Tim Ferriss in his book, Tools of Titans. Highly recommend it. Every time I do that exercise, I always finish it with a smile on my face. And whenever I'm feeling anxious or feeling some weight on my shoulders, I do this. I just start to everybody around me as I'm walking around and I don't know them, I think, I hope that your life is full of amazingness. And I start to, instead of focusing, as we said earlier, our attention gives direction. And instead of putting my focus on the things that worry me, I let go of that grip. And instead, I start to focus on wishing people amazingness and happiness. And I find that when my mind starts to focus on wishing complete strangers an absolute amazing day, that in the end, I benefit from it by relaxing, by having a smile on my face, by being more friendly, by being more playful. And through all of that, I get more creative. And, I've become really interested in this thing called micro kindnesses. It's where can you find little moments of kindness to brighten someone's day, and almost making it a fun, playful activity where you're going throughout your day, and the person at the cash register, if they're kind of in the mode, or if they're in their routine and scanning your things, and normally you just take out your phone, or it's kind of an awkward exchange, saying to yourself, can I turn this into a micro kindness moment? Can I find a way where the two of us can have some sort of connection that brightens both of our days? I've just been trying to find those, and I really find that every time I do it, I just walk away with such a big smile on my face and this feeling of connection and joy, and I notice the other person has it too. So if you want to try that on for size, give it a shot. But in the meantime, you can just do micro kindnesses by sending that energy to the people with your mind. And so once again, within a 2-minute exercise, we have been able to increase our smile and our happiness level, which is always a great place to learn something. Oftentimes the energy of which you're learning something, it translates to your ability to apply it. For instance, if you ever learned something under duress or frustration, maybe there's a class in high school, or there's something that you learned, and if while you were learning it, there was no enjoyment, there was no joy, there was no enthusiasm, chances are your subconscious mind's going to have a tough time trying to find motivation to get you to apply those things. But those times where we learned something with joy and enthusiasm, and it was fun and it seemed easy, we already have the momentum going of applying it. So starting off each of these days by getting in that mindset, it sets us up for success by already conditioning our mind to associate learning with fun, learning these kind of things with joy. And your mind will continue to push you. It will say, this is the path of least resistance, actually. This is the path of downstream. This is the path of what makes me happy in life. And that's how we form new habits that are both good for us and for our community. On day 3, here we are. Day 1, we talked about you're on the start of an epic and grand adventure. What do you already have within you to lend yourself towards that journey? Day 2, we then talked about what is that journey? What does it look like? What tools? What do you already have? Starting to visualize and be playful and let go of limitations and start to really express what is the adventure that you are taking. And on day 3 now, we are going to get intentional about reflecting upon what is success to you. Because when we have things like success as in the nebulous or obscure or kind of fuzzy, we'll never know if we're there. If you visualize what your success is, in fact, you'll hear it happens during one of my exercises in these next couple days where I say, this is what my perfect vision looks like. And someone says, you're kind of living that right now. And it gives you those moments where if you know what success is, you can then celebrate those moments it happens. And the celebration is what gives you the fuel to keep on going. So this is an important exercise. It's an important day. I really hope you enjoy it. In a second here, we're going to jump in. And then as always, I'll greet you and wish you well on the way out. So without further ado, here we go. Alrighty. Just want to thank everybody for joining us once again. I know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you're here really means the world to me. What we're going to start by doing is I want you to write down 2 truths and 1 lie around what success is. But you want to do it, you don't have to do them in those order because we're going to try to guess which one you think is a lie. Okay, so 2 truths and 1 lie about what you think success is. 2 truths and 1 lie. And we're going to try to guess. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
I got it.
And while folks are writing theirs down, would love to invite the people who are listening to think of what are your 2 truths and a lie around success. And if you could, post them in the comments below or post them online and tag me. I'd love to see what yours are and see if we could guess them. And I see those around me are finishing up. So let's listen to theirs. Who would like to start us off?
Me.
Go for it.
Success is fulfillment. Success is happiness. Success is sustainability.
Okay. We'll go around and guess. Mine is sustainability is your lie.
Me too. Sustainability.
Happiness, sustainability, and what?
Fulfillment.
Sustainability is the lie.
What's the lie?
Happiness.
Oh, I was going to change at the last minute. I was going to be like, never mind, it's happiness. Ah, I should have. Okay. Awesome. Wonderful. Who would like to go next?
Oh, okay.
We don't get to explain.
Yeah.
We'll do that after we all get to go.
Oh.
I'm sure we're all going to have lots of questions.
Comments.
Okay. Success is inevitable. Difference between success and failure is 1 step. And success is lonely.
Third one's the lie. Success is lonely.
I think maybe inevitable.
I think it's the difference between success and failure is 1 step.
Wow.
One of us has to be right.
For me, success is lonely is the lie.
Is the lie?
Yeah.
Nice.
For me.
I knew whatever your number 3 was the lie. Because it's hardest to think of the lie. I was like, she wrote her truths. She's taking her time on her lie.
That's interesting.
Okay, I'll go. Success is driving a Tesla. Success is an internal journey. Success is making your parents happy.
Making your parents happy is the lie.
Success is driving a Tesla is the lie.
What was the middle one?
Success is an internal journey.
That one. Yeah, Tesla is something out there. But
Okay.
then family is also out there. I'm torn.
Sounds like 2 lies and a truth.
Yes, you tricked us, Tom.
I would have liked to.
What's your final answer?
Parents.
Parents is the lie.
Okay.
If you know Tom Earl.
What's yours, Rami?
It's so funny. That's like so funny. Here are my success is based on how much money you make. Success means achieving your dreams. Success is however you define it.
Money you make.
Money you make.
That one, but the second one too. What was the second
Success means achieving your dreams.
one? Success means achieving your dreams.
That's what you think in life. It's how much money you make.
Okay.
Because Rami, if it was from someone else, I'd be like,
It's so interesting. Can we talk about it?
Yeah, of course.
I've had to work very hard to feel like success is not about the money, and success is not about my car, and success is not about my house, and success is not about my clothes. All that stuff you might be able to purchase for yourself if your goal is financial success. I think there is financial success, but I think when it comes to like how I'm going to define success in my life, if I'm like on Broadway and if I'm winning Tonys, I probably still couldn't afford a Tesla, but I'm definitely successful. I've hit it, and Tony Award winning's on my bio, and everyone's going to know me for years and years and years to come, and they'll never know how much money was in my bank account.
They won't.
I put Tesla because for me, my happiness isn't linked. Like if I said happiness is, I wouldn't have put driving a Tesla. But one of my goals is I want to drive a Tesla. So that for me is one, like that's an aspect of success for me, but not one that's linked up with my self-worth or happiness, but it's something fun. That's something on my road that I want to enjoy. So that's why, and I put that in there because I also figured y'all would think that was the lie. So I was trying to be strategic. I was like, oh, they'll think that Tom's not materialistic. That's not his. I know we had some questions about Adora's. It was the one where you said happiness is the lie. We were curious about that.
I don't think success necessarily makes you happy. And I don't think it's necessarily success's job to make you happy. I think you can live a very unsuccessful life and still be happy. And I think that's very, very valid. If you're happy and successful, great. But I really can't really see it as anything that should be a foundation for that. But yeah, so that's why it wasn't anything else as happiness.
But
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but you think success is sustainable?
Yes, I think it needs to be sustainable for it to be success. I think everyone can be a star or do something amazing for a moment, but to be a success, it's almost like the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Wealthy is more of a sustained thing, whereas being rich, you have $1 million in your pocket this day, and then next week it's down to zero.
I have a question about Tasneem's. The success, the difference between success and failure is one step. So it's such a fine line, you're saying.
Yeah. Well, for me, the first and the second, which is success is inevitable, is very much the same idea with the second one, the one step. Because, it's like if you stay committed to the journey, then it's on the horizon. And you never know which step is going to be the breakthrough. Like, you see all those famous failure type people like Michael Jordan, and the number of times someone was dismissed. And if they stopped at that 12th time, that's failure. But because they were willing to go the 13th time, it's success.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think this is awesome just from this Two Truths and a Lie. Already, we could talk about this for the next hour. Like, we could dissect it. But for me, the takeaway is that all of us have our own definition of success. And like earlier, we talked about your vision and we talked about comparison, is that things start to get weird when we try to take on other people's definition of success. And we start to judge other people's definition of success. So what we're really focusing on for the first part of today is, what is success for you? Okay, what does that look like? And maybe what are some things lacking from success? Like Adora said to her, success is more about achievement and not necessarily about fulfillment. And so maybe then you need to always keep in mind that success for me isn't going to have happiness. Although I think you had fulfillment in yours, didn't you? So what we're going to do now is, if you could grab something to draw on. It could be on the back of what you drew on a few days ago, or a new piece of paper is in the middle. And I want you to draw, what were you taught by your parents, by society, by school, by TV, by media? What were you taught success looks like? For you specifically, what do you think, if you were to really reflect upon your journey to where you are now, what is the message you've been given of what success looks like for you? So not necessarily what you believe, but what you have been taught success looks like. I'd like for you to go ahead and draw that. And of course, for the folks listening at home or driving or whatever you may be doing, you can pause this or visualize and ignore me, or if you want to have my voice guide you in your reflection as you visualize this on your mind, or if you're able to as you're drawing it out. Either way, you can use my voice to guide the process, or just tune me out and have your own moment of reflection. I want you to think of, as we've said, what were you taught success looks like? when you were growing up, by your culture, your family, our peers, what were you taught success looks like? Were you taught success in terms of your house or maybe a family? What kind of family were you taught success looks like? What kind of job was there? Were you taught success looks like a certain kind of job or a certain kind of income? What kind of values were you taught a successful person exhibits and holds? Is there any sort of age you were taught you must achieve certain successes by? That from a young age you were taught you must achieve this, and success looks like doing this by this certain age. What were the kind of people that you were taught you should associate with in order to be successful? Or the type of actions you should take, or the type of steps were you taught that success looks like going to college? If so, what was the college, or what was the major you were supposed to study in? I want you to think of what was the journeys, what were the outcomes, what were the goals that we were either gently or unconsciously or explicitly taught that success is and that we should therefore follow. Doesn't necessarily mean that you applied it or that this is the pathway you're on, but what were you taught success looks like by our culture, by our family members, by our peers? Give you a couple seconds of silence without me talking to you to think of anything else that you want to draw or visualize. And here comes part 2. Here's what I'd like for you to do. Underline anything that is still true. And you can just leave be anything that is no longer true to you. If you're visualizing your picture, I want you to think through some of your responses to the prompts I gave, or to the vision of success that you were taught that you had created, and think through what of those things do you still believe success looks like? If you were to filter and hit a search button, and one column was the things you still believe success looks like, and in the other column were those things that you no longer believe success looks like, how would that search start to look? How would that picture start to look? What are the things that you still believe success looks like? And what are those things that you no longer believe success is? Give you a few seconds here of silence to think of your response on your own. Okay. Who would like to share their drawing first?
I will.
Okay.
I don't know if both of these are true, but here, I wrote that I was raised that success was getting like some sort of office job, which you make money and which funds your house and your spouse and your children, your heterosexual spouse. And there's like a constant route between the house and the mosque, but inside the house you're praying to God and doing constantly keeping God in mind. And I do think that's true. And I do think working is true, not necessarily looking like that.
That's awesome. Can we step it up for Rami? Who would like to go next?
I'm curious to see Tom. Oh.
Mine is that first thing I drew, which I think might be consistent with a lot of ours, is that lots of money, that you'd be rich, that you'd be married to somebody who, I think it was always unsaid, but that was white and that was Christian. And then you had 3 or 4 kids, and that life is predictable. That's why I have a calendar. Life is predictable. And this is like a Christmas tree, and then you're always home for the holidays and always with family. And that you have diplomas and things that people can see. And then that's why you're a doctor. Like, oh, they're a doctor and they have diplomas. And I have, yes, of course, because then you're always trying to please people. Like, yes, of course, I can do that. And when I started to underline, I was like, well, there's really nothing here that I can underline. I think, yes, I want to have wealth, but I think of it more differently. It's no longer tied to who I am as a person. I don't want it as a status symbol. I want wealth as a opportunity, because it creates opportunities so I can have employees and I can grow my business and I can donate to charities I support, more like that than as a status symbol. And I was like, oh man, this feels very negative. So I kind of cheated. I saw T.H.E and was like, you know what? I was taught by my dad. He used to always say, be your own man, which to me, I kind of translate now as be your own person. And he'd always say that when I'd ask him for advice, instead of giving me advice, he'd be like, the biggest thing, son, is just be your own man, or he'd say, Popeye the Sailor's Man, I am what I am, So I was like, okay, that still sticks with me. So I wrote that in there and underlined it. So, yay.
Yay.
Tom.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go. Well, first of all, I'm feeling really blessed to have received these messages because they're all still true. One was just having a sense of, goal oriented and achieving those goals. That's probably the weakest for me right now, but it's definitely, I think, true still. My dad at one point told me when I was young, be your best. Don't worry about being the best. And I think that really shaped me, and it's true for me. I'm always like, I just want to be my best. I don't care what that ends up looking like on the world stage, but I just want to be my best.
Beautiful.
And my mom taught me to always to make God my best friend. So that idea of doing whatever I do and being whoever I'm being for God and with God and having that consciousness of God, I think definitely if I achieve anything but I don't have the God connection, it wouldn't feel like success to me. And the other big one was family, always being able to give back and staying connected to family. And I think probably for me, the tension, I might be diving up a bit further, but if there is any tension with all of these different ways of what success means, it's the family one. Because, I want to give back to my family. I want to be present for my family. And so there's that sense of expectation or fear of disappointment. I think that creates a little bit of something there. Yeah.
Thank you, T.H.E.
Thank you.
Can we snap it up for T.H.E?
Thank you.
Amazing Adora.
Hello. So, I was loving looking at Rami's because I was thinking, we pretty much have almost the same picture. And I began to wonder if it was cultural, if it's just the African way. Mine's a huge beggar house, even has Roman pillars in front with lots of cars everywhere, private jet, helipad, and a helicopter on it, married in a heterosexual formation with a bunch of kids, and a big kind of tank full of money of all currencies. So I've got dollars, pounds, euros, naira in there. And I cancelled out the ones I thought were less important. So no more private jet and helipad. I think they're all bad for the environment anyway. Not that I wouldn't fly on one. It's just I don't know if owning one is a reasonable and sustainable way to work with climate change. And I also got rid of a few cars for the same reason. And I kept the rest because I think it would be fun to have a bunch of kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. And I do want transport, and I do want a house that's big, so I can have family and friends stay over. I cut out one of the wings because I don't think it needs to be quite that big, but a guest house for family and friends would be great. And I left the money in because I think it would be very, very helpful to be able to share the wealth with all the people who will be coming to stay.
Yay. Can we snap it up for Adora, please? What were some feelings, thoughts, reactions that came up during drawing this, sharing it?
I was thinking of adding a stethoscope for medicine, but I realized that the message I get from family and friends for better or worse, is it's not really how you achieve these things. I know lots of criminals who have achieved all these things and no one's saying to them, you are a terrible person. So that was a useful insight for me. And then also hearing from everybody else, I realized that the message I get from society and even from my family to an extent is you don't even need to have your family in there. As long as we can see that you're successful, that's enough for us. We don't even necessarily need to share in this success. We might be angry if we don't share, but there'll still be a pride that, well, you made it, even if we're not part of it. So,
Well, thank you, Adora, for sharing with that level of honesty and self-reflection. We appreciate that.
thank you.
I was surprised by feelings of resentment or frustration that came up. I was like, wow, I'm really feeling tense. I was surprised by that because I had been thinking about this activity for a while. And I just kind of anticipated. So I was surprised by how positive yours was. That I was anticipating that a lot of people's were need to be wealthy, need to be married, and it needs to be, we all kind of highlighted straight, and the person should look like you and be from your culture, and loyalty to family, and all these things that should be predictable, and these things that are really maybe not even aligned with who we are, but at the same time, like tough, you know, to just like, and have it all done by 24 so your parents don't have to worry. You know what I mean? I think just that pressure I was feeling. Rami or Tasneem, what's the things? Some
I'm
things that came up for you?
surprised too, honestly, because I think I was probably thinking of my immediate family. But if I go into the cultural sphere or, you know, I think a lot of what you guys are saying, nothing surprised me in that sense. I've received those messages as well. But I'm feeling very grateful that I have the parents that I have and the messages that I've received.
Yeah.
I was grateful actually that I realized that this was all BS. You know, like you know, the only real thing I underlined is this sort of like submission to God and this idea of working. And I feel like those are pretty open, but I'm so moved past this sort of expectations that other people have of me, that society has of me. I'm like grateful. I'm like, oh, this is funny. Like it was amusing to me. Oh, all the things I used to hold to be true, and I don't hold any of it to be true.
What value do you think there is in naming this? What we've been taught success looks like. What value do you think we can draw from being self-aware of this?
I think it's just an opportunity to say, is this something I choose to hold on to or change? Like what I think Rami is saying. I think that's true for me.
Anyone else? Or if you don't see any value in it, that's fine.
Well,
too.
like I just said, it validated sort of the choices I've made. And I feel like, oh, this does not feel like, this does not feel a hindrance. It doesn't feel inhibiting in any way at this point. Maybe it had in the past.
I think I realized how much I've embraced of the messages, and maybe to the extent where it is what I need to feel successful. Or maybe I was made to already want these things regardless of all the influences. I can't really say, but at this point in time, yeah, these are the things that would, I feel, make me feel successful.
I think that, especially that last part, that it would make me feel successful, especially for me when I think of that a lot of this would be wanting approval, right? Me trying to create this exact vision would be my success. Underlying motivation would really be approval from my parents, from my culture, from society. And that so many people that I've worked with in workshops like this, where they're immersed in this, there's just like so much silent suffering. And it's hard when you have the job that you've always thought you should, you have the relationship and the kids and the house, and you're always with family, and it's like, I have this, so why am I still, my soul feels crushed. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people like that. But then I also try to think of, where in my life am I still having this? And I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were like, hey, so what are you doing? Like, it always comes to what do you do? It really means about jobs, right? So what's going on with your jobs? And I was sharing them with the contract I was working on. And for some reason, I told them how much I was getting paid for it. And then when the person told me what they were doing, I could tell they were lying, but they told me the exact figures that I told them. Oh, well, I got this one job, then I got paid this much. I'm like, wow, are we both playing this kind of game? I'm like, approve me. I'm getting paid this, right? Isn't that cool? Well, so am I. Isn't that cool? And it's like, wow, we're both still kind of trapped in this. I'm successful. Look at my picture. You know what I mean? So I think, although I know I'm not in this, that there's still always going to be remnants of, look at me, I'm the success that society taught us. When we reflect upon T.H.E's question of if this is what we've been taught success is, the self-awareness gives us the choice to decide, is this what I still believe? So we underlined and said, underline the things that you still believe. But what we want to do now is to make it a little more explicit about what you believe success to be. So as much as we can, why don't we kind of clear just a little bit where our hands can kind of move. Want to introduce to you my friend Pig. This one's also Dr. Pig. Gender neutral, please. Dr. Pig is going to be very hot to the touch. So when you catch Dr. Pig, you can really only hold on to Dr. Pig for like 2 seconds before you have to hand it to somebody. So we're going to go like this, okay? And it's almost like hot potato, but it's hot pig. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question about success. Like, if I was to say your favorite color is, you'd have to answer it right away. Because otherwise, if you're like, you're burning your hands, and then we have to tie them together, and you can't use them for the rest of the day.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. We won't do that part. But does it make sense? I'm going to ask a question, and we're just going to boom, 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 pass it around. Hot potato. Okay?
Yes.
Sound good?
Yes.
You're going to start us off. Ready? Okay. And the first question we're going to ask, so when I ask it, we all just answer in a row. I'm not going to repeat the question again.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Success is?
Goals achieved.
Sustainable.
Success is feeling loved.
Courage. Success feels like?
Making it to the mountaintop.
A warm blanket on a cold day.
Like going wee.
Fulfilling. Now we're going to go this way to give Rami a little bit of a break. I know it is success when?
I know it is success when I feel grateful.
My head is full of excited thoughts.
When I also feel grateful.
I'm free from resistance. It's not success if
there is pressure to be or do something that's untrue.
There's a constant worry.
If other people are happier than I am.
I did it to please others. Okay, we're going to start with you, and we'll go this way. Success always keeps company with?
Ambition.
Drive.
Passion.
Action.
It's not success if I have to sacrifice my integrity.
My values.
My well-being.
My peace of mind.
Success also includes?
Fun.
Fulfillment.
Community.
Days of doing nothing at all. It is important to me that success aligns with my
Values.
Destiny.
Values.
values.
I love destiny.
Okay. All that to say, success to me is
Values and goals achieved.
Exciting.
Living on purpose.
within my grasp.
Aww.
Yay!
That was fun.
Was it?
Yeah.
What was fun about it?
It was real time spontaneous.
I have to go wash my hands from the haram pig.
What was fun about the spontaneity?
Oh, that it was real time. So we do a lot of things where we're supposed to be just top of our heads. But we still we can't help it. We start thinking, but this really made sure that it was just, you come up with something and you don't even have a chance to say, is this real? Is this me? It's just, this is what's come. So
What did y'all think about the ideas that came out of your mouth then?
It was good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, whoa, did I say that type of a thing?
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's kind of affirming that it came, it took a moment perhaps. I got burned a little bit, but it's in there. It's part of my system. So it wasn't too hard to call upon.
That's awesome. Rami, I heard a lot of yes.
I don't think anything I said was surprising either. And I don't know whether the spontaneity changed my answers.
One thing I found to be interesting is that a few days ago, we had said that our vision for our journey, and a lot of things were very detailed. Tony Award winning, BFFLs with Beyonce, different things that were very tangible. But when we were saying success on this, everybody seemed to say feelings or ideas or those kind of things. It wasn't really anything that was specific. So talk to me a little bit about that. What do you think about that?
Well, you said feels like as the prompt. So,
True. That was one of them. I said one was success is.
right. But like I had said in our last, or maybe earlier today, was that success is open. That the success is your dreams can be achieved in multiple ways. It's sort of it's the why behind it. It's that feeling. Why are these dreams about? And so success is achieving the feelings that come from those dreams. Does that make sense?
It does.
I don't think success is that specific. Like any material object, having that wouldn't mean success for me. But if having the object gives you a feeling of success, it's the feeling you're going after.
Yeah.
That's deep. I've heard that a lot, that anything we think we want it because of the feeling we think it'll give us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think those things are kind of like, they're the indicators, right? They're the measurement. And I don't know about you guys, well, you all, but I want proof, I want to be able to hold on to something and say, yeah, look, I have it now, And yes, it's the feeling that makes it worth it. And the feeling is actually not dependent on that thing, but that thing is so instrumental in bringing about that feeling and making it easier to share, because I think success is also something that is not just for you to feel internally and go to bed with. It's the type of thing I want to feel. I want to share. And so it's easier to share things that you have done or achieved that others can see. But it's harder to be like, oh, I feel like I'm on top of the mountain and I'm successful. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Why? So.
I get that.
Yeah, I think there's definitely truth to that. Because for me, I was feeling relief that, so for me, success is being courageous and being in line with my values and not giving up my integrity. It's like, I can do that. I can do that all the time.
Yeah.
So if someone's like, how's life going? I am being really courageous. I'm in line with my values. And I'm not ever sacrificing my integrity. And they're like, okay, but what does it look like? So I think it's true that then we sometimes have to move out of just the values of success into, it looks like this, kind of going back to our picture. Because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
I mean, what that made me think of was like, Adora, your success, where you cut out the jet, because like, say the jet is this material thing that might make you feel successful, but it's actually compromising your values towards climate change or sustainability. That sometimes when you have a very specific goal in mind, sometimes you compromise your integrity just to hit this goal, and you stop thinking critically about your values and all that stuff. I'm just saying, what I heard you say made it like, this is why you cut off the jet from your image. Not that, hey, you want to keep the jet, that's fine. But you also say you care about climate, so let's figure that out.
Yeah, so true.
Adora, any last thoughts from you? We haven't heard from you in a minute, but no pressure.
I was just thinking how, it's what Rami was saying, what Tasneem was saying as well, how it is about feeling and the external stuff. And what we were talking about in an earlier class when I was saying how I found my selfish touchstone. And now I've reminded myself of what it is. Anything I decide to do, I have that thing to check it against and say, ooh, does this do all the things that this used to make me? And if so, then I am going in the right direction, even if I decide to go in a completely different one. So having that touchstone on the inside, and then of course, it's a very big thing for me to be able to share. I don't think I enjoy anything as much unless I can share it.
It's wonderful. Thank you, Adora, and thank you everybody for sharing all this about success. One thing that comes to mind for me is, we've probably all heard this before. If you have a pot of water that's boiling and you put a frog in it, the frog will jump out. But if you put a frog in water that's room temperature and you boil it, the frog won't notice that the water's heating up because it's happening so gradually, and you'll be able to boil the frog alive. So, it's kind of the same thing with success, is that it's such a slow pressure that we start off saying success to me is these things about values, is courage, living with my integrity, being my own person, trusting God, these different things. And then little by little, from little questions people ask us about, well, what do you have to show for it? And little different ways that we ask it, or you go home for a family reunion or holidays and, what have you been up to? Oh, just living in my values. It's not going to sit, right? Like, yeah, but what do you have to show? Like, your brother is now a doctor and 4 kids. Like, what are you doing? Just, like being courageous. Oh my God. So that's kind of the slow pressure that happens. Or if you apply for a job, on a piece of paper, you're supposed to have exactly what your external success looks like. You can't just say, I'm just someone who all the time, I just live from my heart. So just being aware of what's that the boiling look like in our life. And maybe every once in a while drawing, okay, let me get out on a piece of paper what I'm being told success looks like, and then reevaluate for myself so we can make it more within what we're trying to do. Because I resonate with what you said, success is just one step away. So can we snap it up for yourselves? Yes, indeed. All right. And so we are getting ready to conclude day number 3. Hope you enjoyed that. It's really important, as we've reflected upon and said during this workshop, to get a chance to get out of our heads and explicitly say, what have I been conditioned to believe, or what have I been taught to believe, whether subconsciously or consciously, that success is, what it should look like, what it's supposed to be. Oftentimes, without even realizing it, we're continually trying to achieve this level of success in order to get affirmation and approval from something outside of ourselves. In psychology, around leadership development, we call this external and internal goals, or explicit and implicit goals. And goals that are outside of ourselves, goals that are external, I describe this as, am I trying to have goals to prove myself or improve myself? So if most of my vision of success that I've been conditioned to believe and that I'm striving towards are external things outside of myself to validate myself, things associated with the level of wealth or material things or accomplishments and medals and those kind of things, all of which, if I'm doing it because I want to seek validation, if I'm doing it because I want to have people tell me I am enough, or to affirm that I am special, affirm that I am valuable, all emotions that are amazing. Of course, we're special and it's important to feel that way. Of course, we're valuable and it's important to feel that way. But if I'm trying to achieve the validation and realization of those values through external accomplishments, that's often largely correlated with things like depression, anxiety, hopelessness, because there's never an end to it. As soon as you get one thing, you therefore have to get another thing to continue to prove to the world that I am special, that I am amazing. And I'm not using the word special in putting anything down or sarcastically, that I am important, that I matter. Versus intrinsic or internal, or as I say, improved goals or improved definition of success recognizes that it's an internal journey, that anything outside of myself that I'm seeking, whether it's a car or a vacation or an income level, I want it because of the feeling I believe it'll give me, whether it's a feeling of security, a feeling of certainty. It'll give me the ability to have an adventure, whether it'll give me the ability to make new decisions or to have new opportunities. We want external things because of an internal feeling we believe it'll give us. And when we recognize that, we can then, instead of having these external goals that we need to validate ourselves, we can go on a journey of success, of improvement, recognizing that it's an internal thing that I want to improve from within to find my validation within myself. And the whole reason we started this conversation was, if we don't name what have I been taught success looks like, and I am working to accomplish success on autopilot, I might spend my whole life trying to achieve someone else's goals that were set for me at a young age, whether it was set by my society, my peers, my family, usually all of the above. So once in the beginning we started by naming that, we were then able to say, this is what I was taught. Do I still believe this is what success looks like? If yes or no, why or why not? That was the first activity we did, and we got to hear many people's amazing responses. Even for myself, going through the exercise, it was powerful. After we said, well, if this is what success is not, if this is what I no longer believe success is, and if this is what I believe success is, we have an impartial picture. So what can we add on? And we did the hot potato, what is success? And so we were able to say, now this is me consciously defining what does success look like for me. It is now something I can taste, touch, and feel, I can sense, and hopefully it is informed by recognizing that extrinsic goals or goals outside of myself, visions, dreams outside of myself, that it's a never-ending journey without satisfaction. As soon as you taste it, you have to get something else. Recognizing that we want it to be an internal journey of always owning the value, the amazingness, the joy, the unique person that you are, and that every single person on the face of this earth has a unique set of gifts, talents, experiences that they can use in service to making the world an amazing place and fulfilling their purpose, which is the whole point. We are here in this 7-day program together, is to manifest our adventure. And so I want to thank you for going through day 3. I'm sending you an air high five through this audio. I'm throwing you the peace sign, giving you a round of applause because you are amazing. It's been a joy spending this day with you. Please let me know what you thought of this day in the comments section below, or send me a snap at Tom Earl Artist, or an email, tom@tomearl.com. Would love to know what you thought of this day 3. Tomorrow, day 4, if we've talked about success and we have a strong, healthy relationship with success, we should also have a conversation around failure and talk about, what does failure look like in our life? What power does it have around us? And rather than it having power over us, we want to be empowered within it, using it and celebrating failure to project us to our success. But don't worry, this is just a little intro. I promise it'll be fun, it'll be enjoyable, and it will continue you on your journey of manifesting your adventure. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, my friends. I hope you're thinking of something you are grateful for and sharing that joy with those around you. You are absolutely amazing. You are brilliant, and you are a force of nature that I am absolutely pleased, and it's a pleasure and an honor to know you and to be connected with you. As always, I'm wishing you peace and blessings. See you tomorrow. Hey, Tom Earl here again. Just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Celebration. Your support, your energy means the world to me. Hey, if you have 2 seconds, I would be honored if you were to go over to wherever you're listening to your podcast and review this podcast. 5 stars, 1 million stars, somewhere between that range would be very much appreciated. You're the absolute best. I love you. And if you're interested in more courses that I have to offer, just head to tomearl.com/courses, and you can sign up for 30 days free to our online school. You're the best, my friends. Looking forward to you joining us next week. All right. Peace and blessings. One more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.